Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome. Today we're going to do an unboxing of Tank on Tank Eastfront's expansion, Red Storm in the Valley. Let's jump in and get started. As we start out, just a reminder that in order to access Tank on Tank Red Storm in the Valley, you need Tank on Tank Eastfront. This is an expansion for this game, and there's no counters in this expansion set, so you won't be able to do anything with it unless you have Tank on Tank Eastfront. So that being said, let's jump in and take a look at what's inside. Actually, before we talk a little bit about this, let's backtrack a little bit and do a quick introduction on the Tank on Tank series if you're not familiar with it. Tank on Tank Eastfront and Tank on Tank Westfront are two lines of games published by Lock and Load Publishing that are low complexity, introductory hex encounters war games designed for getting people into the hobby, or if you're a more experienced wargamer and you want a lighter fare. Tank on Tank Eastfront simulates Eastfront combat in World War II, Germany, Russia, and some Hungarian units as well. Easy to learn, fast to pick up and play, and the game plays really fast. So we'll go through the player aids and the maps momentarily, but let's first take a look at the scenarios book and also the rules changes that are incorporated, rules additions, I think. They're additional rules that have been added to Tank on Tank Eastfront in this game. And one in particular I'm excited about. So we have just a handful, 2 pages basically, of rule changes. There's a concealment rule, railroad hexes, and locomotives that are added to one map in particular, which adds an interesting change to the game in those scenarios. But then the rule change that I really like is this optional gun caliber modifiers. So in the original game, the power of the tank unit that was firing didn't matter in terms of whether it was going to be able to knock out a target or not. So they added in regular caliber weapons, small caliber and large caliber weapons. So a Tiger tank now has a much better a Tiger tank that's firing has a much better chance of knocking out its target than does a smaller caliber tank armored unit like this M8, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, it makes the game a touch more complex, but I like that fact that it felt a little bit awkward to me in the original game, although, again, this is designed very much as an accessible beginner level war game series. Someone new to hex encounters war games that you want to introduce to them. This is looks like to me a very, very good way to do it. So I can understand the simplicity in the system, but it is nice that a Tiger tank has a better chance of knocking out another tank than like an M8. That makes a lot more sense to me too. So now let's take a look at our scenarios. There are 13 in all, very easy, kind of short, articulated scenarios. Again, the size on these and the scope on this game is very, very manageable, kind of medium to small scale scenarios with a couple of ones that kind of go a little bit larger, but a very kind of accessible and manageable and playable game set that I think is going to be a really good way to kind of introduce people to hex encounters wargaming. So we have 13 in all again, and the last one here, an important note for this one, it's East versus West, Stalin's Hammer. West meets East. So in this one, this scenario here, you need not only Tank on Tank Eastfront, you also need Tank on Tank Westfront, which is the Westfront compatriot to this Eastfront series. And there we go, some credits on the back, a little bit of promotional materials, and we've taken a look at the thing on the box here. Now, just a quick note, I've mentioned this in the unboxing too. Complexity is a 2, that feels right. Solitaire playability is a 6. There's no solitaire rule set for this series, but playing it both sides solitaire would be very, very easy to do. Okay, so we've taken a look at the rules and we've taken a look at the scenarios. The player aid that comes with it is the player aid. I'll show a close-up on this too. The player that handles how you work the rules for the gun caliper additional rule. And I think I'm going to be playing with this one right away because I think this makes a lot of sense and it looks like it's a really fun, easy rule to add in. So I'm excited about that one. It's basically you change the number of dice you throw. So for like large caliber weapons, you throw 3 dice and you pick the 2 best ones. For smaller ones, you throw 3 dice and you pick the 2 lowest ones, the weakest ones. So a really kind of easy, elegant system for bringing that in. And that's one-sided player aid to kind of articulate that rule and keep it handy as you're playing. Now the big part then of this expansion are the 2/4 maps that you get with it. They're roughly 20 by 25 inches across here. And as with the original version, I'm opening up the snow side of this. This is map H in the series here. These are big hexes. I mean, a little bit under 2 inches inches wide on the hexes here. Here we have the big snowy map, and if we pull it down here, and I'll show close-ups on this too as we go through, we can see that this is the railroad hexes here. So this is where the railroad one kind of accounting for that locomotive rule that's in here. We have some depressions, big open plain. You can see open combat with lots of firepower here on this one. This would be a fun one to play on. And as with the previous version, they are both double-sided. These are cardboard kind of maps, a nice thick cardboard. But as we can see here, this is a replica of the other map. I'm going to flip it around. Same exact map, except it's not snowing. And you can play the scenarios with snow or without snow as you may like. So kind of creating a little bit of added variability. You've got options to do it both ways. So yeah, nice open field map for this one. Let's take a look at the second map again. Same size, same kind of formation. Let's start with the non-snowy side here. So again, this one is a lot more congested than its brother in this expansion set. And these maps are slightly bigger. No, these are actually the same size as the ones in Eastfront. Sorry, I was thinking of something else there. But yeah, so we've got some depressions, some roads, towns, wooded areas, and things like that. A lot more congested than the original one. I think we got some hills here too. I guess, maybe not, yeah. So very interesting layout. These must be hills, not, what am I talking about? These are hills here. These are not depressions. So I just got my sense of view wrong on these. So there you go, kind of looks at that. Let's take a look at the snow side on this one. We go. Same thing, map H with snow, woods and everything like that. I like the artwork on these. They're very clear, evocative of kind of Eastfront combat, good kind of graphic design and stuff like that. Very clear and easy to understand what everything is. So there we go. Tank on tank Eastfront. There's not too much else to say with these. Again, the things you're getting the rule changes, the maps, and the scenarios there, as well as the player aid for the small caliber gun variant. But we get tank on tank Eastfront, Red Storm in the Valley expansion. Let me know what you think. Happy to hear your comments down below. I'll put a link here to the Tank on Tank Eastfront unboxing and any other subsequent videos that come up. I will be bringing some gameplay from this series, from the Eastfront series, to the channel at some point in the near future. So I'm looking forward to getting this to the table. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.